So a lot of people look at me and they're like, "Oh, you're just an 18-year-old man who plays with trains," and I'm like, "Well, yes, but actually no. It's a lot more complicated than that." And I'm going to show you a little bit today about how you're going to maintenance one of these things because, it's not just a toy train. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to take off these screws that hold on the bottom. This is usually called a base plate, or if you're British, it's a base keeper plate. Just depends on where you're from. So we take these screws out first and take that off like that. Alright, so we've got the base keeper plate here, and the first thing we want to do before we do any sort of maintenance is we want to take a paper towel or napkin in this case. Just clean up some of the old lubricant and the junk that's sitting in the bottom of this because it gets kicked up after running for a while. So just want to make sure you clean this out real good. Okay, so next we're going to take the body of the locomotive, and you can see here we have to oil the wheels up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my light lubricant. I use Lebel number 108. It's a lighter lubricant, for this kind of job. So what you're going to do is you're going to take it, needle tip applicator, put a little dot on each of the places where it comes into contact with the frame. Just a little bit. You don't want to over lubricate it. And then that's it for lubricating the wheels. Okay, so the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to take our heavier lubricant, and this is Lebel number 106, and this is a heavier grease. And we're going to take that and see this gear right here? We're just going to take a little bit of this. You don't need a lot. Take a little bit, just squeeze it onto the surface of the gear, and then you take one of your paper towels. It doesn't have to be clean. You just kind of smush it down in there, make sure it gets into the surfaces and the teeth of the gear, and then you're all good for lubricating the gear. Alright, so the last thing you're going to want to do before you put it back together is right here on the base keeper plate, you've got these brass contacts, and these touch the wheels and help pick up electrical power. And you're going to want these to be clean, so I usually take a little paper towel, put it on my finger, and then just kind of rub back and forth, try and clear up some of the oxidation. And just give those a little clean, and then you're all good. Alright, so now we're just going to throw the keeper plate back on there. Make sure when you put it back together that you don't get the contacts caught up. You want to make sure that they go behind the wheels. Make sure you're putting everything together right, and then you'll have a better working locomotive at the end of the day. There we go, all back together. So that's all you're going to need to know to do a basic maintenance on one of these. And like I said, most people think, oh, it's just a toy train. For me, this has been something that I really enjoy doing for a lot of my life. And I just like to tell people there's a little bit more than this than you'd think.